The pathetic narrative of a venerable mother and other stories. Written by Pabitra Adhikary. Narrated by Ashish Hajra. The pathetic narrative of a venerable mother. I am a village boy, so I had no concept about the old age home. Ever since I was a child, I had settled my parents above God. Every parent gives their all to rear a kid. Instead of fulfilling their hobbies and amusements, they aspire for a stronger future for their children with their last resources. Parents have to give up a lot to take care of their infants. Those parents should not be dropped in the old age home as soon as their demands are matched. The child must take care of every elderly parent. This moral instruction must be demonstrated to every child. Almighty God may be the one who offers the children the dignity they deserve. There is no benefit in worshipping God by ignoring one's parents. The room of the old parents is the real temple. Parents, family, and the surroundings play a vital role in developing the personality of any toddler. Remember, whatever we undertake today, our offspring will pursue in the future. If we show due respect to our aged parents, our future generations will provide us honor in the future. Remember, there is nothing more precious in this universe than a parent's blessings. Parents' grace is more valuable than all treasures. In a household where parents are not provided due respect, the family will never be happy. I came to study in Kolkata then. I lived as a paying guest. The proprietor of the house, uncle and aunt, lived on the second floor, and I remained in a room on the first floor. Their son Abir and their son's wife Payal both worked in Mumbai. Uncle and aunt loved me like their own son. Shomitra Babu, our next door neighbor, expired of a heart attack on Sunday night. I was deeply perturbed to hear. His age was more than 60. He was an extremely lively gentleman. He came to visit me several times by himself. He was somewhat concerned about my studies. 2 days afterwards, on Tuesday morning, there was a conversation between son Anirban and daughter-in-law Swastika. Son Anirban worked in a high position in the bank. Daughter-in-law Swastika was a modern homemaker, but she had no enthusiasm for housekeeping. Anirban's 7-year-old son Obhik was now in class 2 at the most prestigious convent school in Kolkata. Swastika said, "Look, I can't see your sick mom. I have accomplished a lot. I can't go on anymore. It is not my obligation to look at your mom. Get your mother out of this house the day after your father's obsequies." Anirban said, "Don't talk like this. Now if I send my mother to an old age home, what will the neighbors say?" Swastika said, "So I can't listen to the neighbor. I require peace in my life. I can't stand so much trouble anymore." Anirban said, "As you suggested, I have fixed 3 workmen, in the morning, at noon, and in the night too. Please try to accommodate mother a slight." Swastika said, "I can't. Do not always point out the term 3 workmen repeatedly. Do you know how much activity is there at home? Have you ever supported me with housekeeping? The child is now in 2nd grade. Do you know how much time I have to spend on his studies? Never underrate the employment of a housewife." Anirban said, "But my mom used to deal with the whole housework alone without any workman." Swastika said, "You know, Your mother spoiled you completely. Your mother's generation was different. Today's era is distinctive. You go and relax in the office all day. What responsibility do we have at home? What do you understand? Is the house mine alone? The household is for both of us. So both of us should do the housework equally. But your mother did not teach you that. She has devoured your full brain. It is not my business to look at your mom. I have worked out a lot and I can't. You have to resolve now whether you will choose me or your sick mother. Anirban said, I'll see. Please, allow me time to consider. The next day, Soumitra Babu's daughter, Sravanti, was called. She arrived and delivered the same answer. Brother and sister-in-law will enjoy the father's apartment. Will I see the sick mother? Do you assume I'm stupid? Swastika said, We have seen mother for so long. So now I demand to dispatch mother to the old age home. Sravanti said, Do whatever you wish, but don't get me in trouble. Soumitra Babu's wife, Madhavilata, might not have attended these points, as she heard very little in the year. Maybe she was pretending not to hear everything. I couldn't stand watching her helplessly like this. Her face resembled a lot like my grandmother's face. On the day of Soumitra Babu's obsequies, I was also invited along with the uncle and aunt. Lots of foodstuffs were arranged there. Before that, I didn't look at so much food during the morning period in a household. Auntie said in front of everyone that day, Anirban, I think you are like my own son. Don't send your mom to an old age home. She hears less, never stays out of the residence. Before Anirban could explain anything, Swastika said, Don't provoke him like this. Now I have all the authority over him. Another point, I don't like sniffing in other people's business. Everyone became mute. Uncle told Auntie to be relaxed. I was very indignant with Anirban Babu. There was nothing improper with listening to your spouse. My dad also talked to my mother first before making any judgment. Then he used to take any decision. But listening to his wife's words, Anirban Babu was doing injustice to his mother, which was not desirable of encouragement at all. No child should treat like this with the mother. The era has changed. On that night, Uncle called his son and said, Mom called you yesterday. Didn't you talk for a minute? It's been going on for a long time. But your mother is truly depressed. Abir replied, Sorry, Dad. I was extremely busy for a few days. I'm calling my mom right now. That's when Abir called and talked to Auntie for about 30 minutes. Auntie later revealed to Uncle, Why did you say that to the child? I didn't tell you anything. Uncle replied, The mother has to teach the son her likes or dislikes. The era has evolved remarkably. The present generation is overlooking the duty of every child to be by the side of parents at the last age. The next morning, her son took Madhavilata Devi to the old age home. Madhavilata Devi was breaking down a lot before leaving. The night before, her daughter and daughter-in-law divided all the jewelry. They had shared them in equal parts. Now, Madhavilata Devi became exceedingly poor. It was very sad to see a mother. It seemed like it was going to rain very heavily. Then I would have peace of mind. Then Swastika and her son Obhik were sitting on the veranda of the house. But today, what the convent schoolboy learned from life, would he ever be capable to be a true human being? I had apprehensions. This is how a generation is coming to an end. If he reiterates the same action when he grows up, can he be condemned? An unbelievable love story. I am Aniruddha Bagchi. I am one of the renowned doctors in the city of Kolkata. I am a cardiologist and 35 years old. However, I would like to describe the incident in brief. I saw a girl lying sick on the street. There was a minor accident between a scooty and another bike, but the girl lost her consciousness. I can't bypass a patient lying unconscious in the street in this way. As a doctor, I have a duty. I instructed my driver to assist, and then I took the girl to my nursing home. The name of that girl was Shayantini Kundu. She has come from the USA just for a year. Her age is around 30. It is 10 years ago from today. Then the girl's heart was transplanted. The donor too was a girl. Her brain died owing to an accident. Her heart was transplanted into the body of this girl. The entire process was done in the USA. But there are a few complications in Shayantini after the heart transplantation. For example, she becomes absent-minded on the street and even sometimes loses her consciousness, etc. Many a time, she remembers ample memories of that old girl. This has never been heard of in medical science. I want to make Shayantini completely cured. But she surprised me one day when she proposed to me. Maybe she liked me. When a girl helplessly prays for love, it feels very bad to give her back. But it is quite impossible for me to love her. For this, one needs to hear the story of my past life. I was born in a small village. I was proficient in studies and good at games and sports in the school of my native village. In that village, there came several families from Kolkata during the marriage of the Chaudhary house. There, I was acquainted with a girl and then we became friends. Her name was Madhurima. I started loving her at the very first sight. I have fixed in my mind that I would marry her in future. Madhurima also liked me, but first of all, I have to be worthy of her. So I started studying with a great concentration. I ranked very well. In the medical entrance exam, I got admitted to Kolkata Medical College. Coming to Kolkata, I came to know that Madhurima's father was transferred to the USA. I talked to her over the telephone. She became very glad to hear of my success. Then came that cursed day. On that very day, I came to know the news of Madhurima's accident. Madhurima died in a fatal accident. Her father tried hard to save her life in a large nursing home in the USA. Though her father had spent a lot of money there, he was not successful to save the life of Madhurima. On that day, I decided in my mind to live forever in this way, cherishing her memory. I told Shayantini everything openly. She listened to me with rapt attention. Then she said, "Maybe you won't believe. Such a memory floats before my eyes again and again. The kind of story you told, that type of picturesque village, a lad. There is a great affinity between your description and my memory." I could not believe her words. I called that hospital in the USA where Shayantini's heart was transplanted. I wanted to know from them the name of the donor. The answer came, Madhurima Sanyal. Shulagna and her sacrifice. Just now I received the news that Prashantu Sir is no more. He was being treated in some reputed hospital in Mumbai. Shulagna was with Prashantu Sir till his last breath. Shulagna was my classmate. She always came first in class and I came second. She was also quite beautiful. Both of us and some of our friends used to attend tuition classes for English from Prashantu Sir. He was also a very good person. He used to like Shulagna. Shulagna too liked him. Everything was going fine. Their marriage also got fixed. Then it became known that Prashantu Sir has blood cancer. Everyone tried to convince Shulagna to discard the idea of marrying Prashantu Sir because there was no certainty of his life. But Shulagna didn't listen to anyone's advice and married him because she felt that in this hour of crisis, she must stay by him. Shulagna never left him and always took care of him. This way, for the last 10 years, she has been serving her love. Whenever I think of noble girls like Shulagna in this selfish world, her character becomes brighter in our eyes. One death and one affair. The incident happened right in front of my eyes. It happened so fast, I couldn't do anything. A lorry came from behind and knocked the boy down. The boy fell flat on his face with his limbs sprawled. A few of us carried the blood-smeared boy to the hospital. The doctor said that he had no chance of survival. As he lay in the cabin of the hospital, he looked at me and said that he wanted to meet a girl. So, unwillingly, I had to call her. I called the girl and told her everything. The girl clearly replied, "No, I don't love him now." I was surprised. In anger, I told her, "Look, whether you love him or not is not important now. Before dying, he wants to meet you once. So, you should come." The girl said, "Had it been some other day, I would have thought. Today there is the college annual function. Today it's not possible for me to go." The girl disconnected the call, proving wrong the many synonyms of the word woman, like affection, concern, pity, love, fondness. The girl didn't come to meet the boy. The boy died at 9 in the night. The girl, at that time, was shaking her hips with some other boy in the college annual function. The tale of a king and queens. Once there was a king who had 4 queens. All the queens were exquisitely beautiful, and the king was very proud of all his beautiful wives. The eldest queen was named Shonkini. The next queen in order of age was called Hostini. The third queen's name was Rukmini, and Padmini was the name of the youngest queen. One day, the king announced that he would donate all his properties and precious belongings to one of his 4 queens. For that, he invited all his queens at the royal court the next day. Next morning, all the queens were decked up beautifully with appropriate makeup, ornaments, and all other accessories. They were looking so gorgeous that their beauty even outshined the heavenly angels. It was a winter morning. A small puppy was shivering in cold at the way to the royal palace. The eldest queen saw the puppy. She had an argument with the second queen that morning and was agitated for that. All her anger and irritation found expression in her cruelty towards the helpless puppy. She ruthlessly kicked the puppy into the drain. After some time, the second queen passed by that way. Despite seeing the puppy, she pretended as if she did not see him. A little later, the third queen came to that place. She saw the puppy in the drain, restless with pain. She stood there for quite some time, showing her sympathies for the suffering puppy, but took no initiative to rescue the poor animal. Instead, she went away to the palace. At last, the youngest queen, while passing by that way, found the puppy. She rescued him, and instead of going to the palace, she took the puppy to the doctor and finally could cure him. The source of real happiness is not in the outside world of materials. It is within ourselves. No material possession can give us real happiness. That can be achieved by loving and helping the helpless. One who achieves that happiness does not have any pain of deprivation. The king got to know the entire event from his spy. Instead of going to the court, he rushed to the youngest queen. He donated all his properties to the youngest queen. Moral of the story: those who truly love the living beings are the best human beings.